Once upon a time, in a small and secluded town nestled deep in the majestic mountains, there lived a young girl named Isabella, a beautiful and graceful young girl, with long, flowing hair the color of golden wheat and eyes that sparkled like the clear mountain streams that flowed nearby. Isabella was known throughout the town for her beauty and her love of dancing. Every year, the town would hold a grand ball that she would love to perform in. Despite her love for dance, Isabella struggled with her technique. She found herself frustrated with her lack of progress. Determined to improve, Isabella sought advice from many people in the village, including the town florist who recommended visiting a wise old man in the forest. The next morning, Isabella set out to find the old man. When she arrived, he was pleased to see her and listen to her struggles. He advised her to change the music she was dancing to and recommended the works of Maurice Ravel, specifically his piece Bolero. Excited by this new possibility, Isabella returned to home and spoke within her town dance instructor, who was not open to the idea of incorporating this new music into her class lessons. Isabella was upset that she couldn't begin to dance to the music of Maurice Ravel, found herself lost in the rhythm and movement and hummed what she imagined what the music was to be. People were amazed by her newfound grace, passion and imagination. Isabella had always loved to dance. Ever since a young child, she would often spend hours twirling and spinning in the fields near her home, her long hair flowing behind her as she danced. Her parents, who were farmers, would watch her from afar with pride and joy, knowing that their daughter had a special talent. They would often comment on how she seemed to move in perfect harmony with the rhythm of nature. Her movements as fluid and graceful as the swaying of the wheat in the breeze. Growing older, Isabella's love for dance only grew stronger, often sneaking away from her chores to dance in the fields, and her parents knew that they couldn't deny her this passion. They decided to seek out the local dance teacher again and arrange for Isabella to take dance lessons. The local dance teacher was a kind and patient person who had trained many of the town's best dancers. Seeing Isabella's potential immediately, and under her guidance, Isabella began to hone her craft. Isabella would spend hours each day practicing her dance moves, perfecting her turns and leaps. Learning quickly, and soon, became the most accomplished dancer in the town. The dance teacher would often talk to her about her natural talent, and that to become one of the greatest dancers in the world would need hard work. Isabella took this encouragement to heart and worked even harder, determined to make her dream of becoming a great dancer a reality. Isabella's performances soon became the talk of the town, and her dance teacher would invite other teachers and choreographers to come and watch her dance. They were all impressed by her natural talent and grace. But Isabella was not content with simply being the best dancer in her town, having larger dreams and aspirations and wanting to dance on the grand stages of the world, to perform for audiences of thousands, and to be recognized as one of the greatest dancers of all time. Knowing that the opportunities and resources in her village were limited, being determined to do whatever it takes to make her dream come true. So, with her parents' blessing, making the difficult decision to leave her town and setting out on a journey to pursue her dream. With bags packed and saying goodbye to her family, promising to make them proud. With a clear vision and a determined mindset, she was ready to face any challenges that may come her way. Isabella traveled from town to town, performing in small theaters and dance halls, gradually building a reputation as a talented and accomplished dancer. It was not an easy journey, facing many obstacles, financial difficulties and rejection, never giving up, determined to make a name for herself, working tirelessly to improve her craft. As Isabella traveled, other dancers and performers came into her life, some of whom would become her mentors and friends, learning from them, and in turn, they would learn from her, watching their performances, analyzing their techniques, and incorporating what could be learned into her own dance. This helped her to improve, to develop skills and her own unique style. Through her hard work and determination, Isabella gradually built a reputation as a talented and accomplished dancer. Her performances would attract larger and larger audiences, and soon Isabella was performing in front of crowds of thousands, finally reaching her dream, and was now a renowned and celebrated ballerina. And her performances were always marked by the passion and intensity by what she first imagined the music of Maurice Ravel to be. Traveling from place to place, Isabella was constantly on the lookout for new and inspiring music, being a lover of music and eager to discover new compositions and styles. One day, passing through a small town, stumbling upon a concert featuring the compositions of a composer named Maurice Ravel, remembering the day as a young girl in the forest with the old man and becoming immediately drawn to his unique and complex melodies. Isabella's vision of Ravel's composition Bolero was always how she hummed it in her mind as a child. Isabella was particularly fascinated with Bolero, which featured a theme and variation structure. Struck by the way the theme was repeated and transformed throughout the piece, becoming more and more complex and intense as it went on. Not being able to get the music out of her head and deciding to buy the sheet music to learn more about it, studying the piece and beginning to experiment with incorporating the rhythms and melodies of Bolero into her own dancing, listening to the piece over and over, trying to understand the subtleties and nuances of the music and how they could be translated into movement. Isabella was determined to make it her own, to put her own personal touch to it. It took a lot of hard work and experimentation, but eventually, Isabella developed a unique and captivating style that incorporated the theme and variation structure of Bolero. Her performances became more and more precise, and audiences were captivated by her interpretation of the music. Her dance teacher and mentors were impressed by her ability to take something complex and make it her own, and soon, she was being invited to perform at prestigious venues across the country. Her unique style was captivating, and her performances were always marked by the passion and intensity she had first discovered in the music of Maurice Ravel. After years of traveling and performing, Isabella finally returned to her town, missing her family and friends, wanting to show them how far she had come, arranging for a performance in the town square and inviting everyone in the town to come and watch. As people gathered in the square, they were amazed by the transformation in Isabella's dancing, growing into a confident and skilled dancer, and her performances were nothing like they had ever seen before. The band began to play, and Isabella started to dance. At first, people were taken back by her new style, but as the music progressed, they began to see the beauty and elegance in her movements. Isabella was lost in the dance, her body moving to the pulsing rhythm of the drums. Always been a natural dancer, now developed into an emotional depth and expressiveness that was captivating to watch. As the music reached its climax, Isabella's movements became more and more frenzied, her spins and leaps wilder and more passionate, and when the band finally reached the final variation, Isabella collapsed to the ground, exhausted but exhilarated, pouring her heart and soul into the dance, and it was clear to the people that she had become something truly special. They cheered and applauded, and Isabella lay there, catching her breath, feeling a sense of accomplishment and pride never felt before. The band leader approached her and offered his hand, helping her to her feet. "That was amazing," he said. "You truly are the Bolero of this town." From that day forward, the city's annual ball was known as the Bolero Ball, and the music played was always based on the theme and variation structure of Maurice Ravel's famous piece. And Isabella, the town's own Bolero, continued to dance and enchant the people for many years to come. Isabella's dancing in her village was a turning point in her career. The impact it had was far-reaching and profound, and her unique style and interpretation of Maurice Ravel's famous piece Bolero had captivated audiences. Word of her talent quickly spread, and soon she was being invited to perform on the grand stages of the world. Isabella's journey took her to the United States, where she danced in some of the most renowned venues and opera centers. Her unique choreography and interpretation of Bolero mesmerized audiences, quickly becoming a sensation in the production world. Her dancers were met with overwhelming applause and admiration, and critics were in awe of her grace, fluidity, and emotional depth as a dancer. Her showpieces were always a sellout, and she had a huge fan following. Her unique choreography and interpretation of Bolero had set her apart from her peers, and she was considered one of the greatest dancers of her time. Isabella's fame and success brought her international recognition, and she became a cultural ambassador for her country, showcasing her unique choreography, which is a combination of traditional and contemporary techniques. Her choreography was a fusion of different dance styles, and it was a perfect representation of her background and her journey as a dancer. Isabella was the first dancer to bring the Bolero ball to the world stage, and it became a sensation overnight. Her unique choreography and interpretation of Maurice Ravel's famous piece Bolero. Isabella's fame and success brought her international recognition, and she became a cultural ambassador for her country. In Vienna, Austria, a statue was built in her honor, immortalizing her grace and beauty as a dancer. The statue was placed in the heart of the city, and it quickly became a popular tourist attraction. In her passing, a dance was named in her honor called the Isabella Bolero. This dance was recognized around the world, and it became a standard in the dance world, taught in performance schools everywhere. The Isabella Bolero is a celebration of her life and her legacy, and it is a dance that will forever be associated with her name.